All right, that looks good. So here we are. And we're going to start up high today. We're going to start up above the head here. So find a comfortable seated position. Now you can sit kneeling, cross-legged or legs straight. You can even sit in campfire pose, up seated nice and high. Really make yourself comfortable in a way where you can feel undistracted. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, palms face up. And allow yourself to sit as tall as you can without straining. So there's this balance of, as you breathe in, you push down through the sit bones. And as you exhale, you feel the upper body, the heart, the roof of the mouth and the crown of the head lift up. But the shoulders stay relaxed. The shoulders don't come up with the upward movement. They suspend, they dangle. And close the eyes for a moment and notice the condition of the mind. Some of you might feel a busy, turbulent mind that's racing from point to point. Some of you might feel a troubled mind that's concerned and ruminating over world events or personal events. And some of you might have a mind that's locked in and focused on something specific. And others might have a sense of space in the mind. And this might fluctuate from moment to moment. And for a moment, consider the state of your mind as irrelevant to everything else that's going on. A little bit like the weather. Some of us have cloudy weather, thunderstorms, rain. And some of us have sunny skies. And for a moment, consider whatever weather pattern is in your mind tonight, that we all share the same experience, that the weather we have in the mind is part of the space in which the weather occurs. So sometimes that space is full of storm clouds. Sometimes it's sunny. But the space in which all the weather occurs isn't concerned. The storms come and go. The sun comes and goes. So start to, rather than stop the thoughts moving through the sky of the mind, start to change our relationship to the thoughts. Start to work on releasing our reaction to the thoughts. So the thoughts aren't the problem. It's our reaction to the thoughts that creates the stress and anxiety. So in tonight's class, have this sense of letting go of reaction. And there's 3 skills we practice to let go of reaction. The first one is to be still, is to not move. Like a statue cannot react to anything that happens to it. If a fly lands on the statue's nose, it can't scratch the nose. So become like a statue that's gently breathing. No matter what thought comes into the mind, remain still. And then when you feel that stillness, even when you have the urge to scratch or fidget, practice relaxation. Relax the shoulders. Let the shoulders sink away from the ears. Let the muscles and nerves of the jaw relax. And feel how the throat and neck soften. And for a moment, just create the faintest Mona Lisa smile, just a very faint one. So feel the tension in the face when we smile versus the tension in the face when we don't smile. Notice the difference, the nuance. And once again, the way we don't react to the mind is to let go of the idea that something's wrong. We let that idea go. And then the final way to remain attentive is to notice the sensations in your body. Notice how your body feels tonight. Notice how the knees are feeling, shoulders, the neck. And then inhale, take a big breath in, bring the hands behind the head. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the back of the skull between the heel palms of the hand and then wrap the forearms around the skull. Squeeze the skull as if you're squeezing out all the tension in the head, the skull. Slightly tuck the chin as you lift the back of the head up. Squeeze and lift with all the strength you have in your arms. Squeezing the skull, lengthening the neck by lifting up, dropping the chin a little bit more for 3, 2, and then exhale, release. Float the hands down, bring the head forward, come off whatever you're sitting on. And you might like to keep the blocks at the top of the mat. Have your blanket handy. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Lift the chin for a moment and rotate the elbows in and forward so you feel the arms tighten. You feel the arms become strong and stable. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the navel in, let the shoulder blades separate, and drop the chin and round the back. Keep pulling the tailbone underneath, trying to make the back as round as you can, stretching the back muscles. Let the head dangle down. Start to lift the tailbone as you lift the tailbone, tighten the arms, lift the chin. So you feel this movement start in the tailbone and end in the neck. Let's try this again. Tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in, let the shoulder blades come apart, and then let the chin drop and the back of the neck traction out. So the neck moves last, the tailbone moves first. Let's try Sacred Cow again. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Head still looking down. Tighten the arms. Lift the chin last. So feel that sequence, low back, mid back, neck. And see if you can continue that sequence consciously as you breathe. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the shoulder blades, drop the chin. Inhale, lift the tailbone, tighten the arms, lift the chin. And see if you can feel the spine moving in sequence, almost like it's fluid, like a wave is rippling up the spine, lifting the head or dropping the head at the end of the wave. So all the movement of the spine is complete by the time it reaches the neck, and you can be very gentle on the neck. It's not so easy to focus on, but if you can focus on this, the neck starts to free up. And on the next inhale, slide the right hand underneath the left arm. This is called threading the needle. Bend the left elbow and see if you can rest the side of your head onto the mat. If the side of the head does not reach the mat, bring a blanket or a towel under the head. Make sure the head is resting here. Use your left hand to keep you stable and balanced. Push into the left hand and straighten the left leg behind you. If you're not sure what I mean, just see what I'm doing here. So I'm laying on my right shoulder, pressing into the right knee, and on the right side of my head. So the shoulder and the neck getting plenty of attention here. If anything's too painful, modify. Bring that left knee back down. So how do we work with the mind? Let's come back to those three principles. Be as still as you can. This is a balance pose, so you might feel little pieces of movement. Be as still as you can. Now relax. Relax any tension where you don't need to feel tense. And notice the sensations you're feeling. That's all you need to do to soothe the mind. For those who feel confident here, take your left hand off the floor and lift up the arm. You can bring that left hand down anytime you want. So there's a little bit of balance work going on here. 3 more breaths if you can. On the third breath, bring the left hand down to support you. Bring the left knee down. Release the right arm. Now rest your forehead on stacked hands or stacked fists. Some of you will be able to rest it all the way to the mat. Just make sure your head is resting. Widen the knees a little bit into child pose. Come to stillness. So that all you feel like is a statue gently breathing. Relax the shoulders, the neck. And notice the sensations in your body now that you've let the pose go. Gently turn the head to the right. Make sure the neck feels okay after that long pose. Come back to tabletop. Hands on the shoulders. Tighten the arms. Lift the tailbone. Lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Round the back. Draw the navel in. Drop the head last. Cat and cow. Moving the spine. And I want you to notice each time we do cat and cow, if you can feel any changes into the fluidity of the spine. As we start to let the shoulders and neck go, does the spine move a little more freely? We're going to try this sequence on this side. Take the left hand underneath, come onto the left shoulder, the left knee, push into the right hand and straighten the right leg behind you. Look for your balance point here so that you can become as still as you can. Relax what you can, particularly the face and the shoulders. Notice the sensations you're feeling in the body, and if you need to modify, just bring the knee down or change the position. And for some of you who feel ready, start to engage. Lift that right hand to the sky. And the same principles apply. Now, it's almost impossible to be absolutely still because as you breathe, the center of gravity balances you on that kneecap and you feel yourself gently rocking with the breath. So let yourself be as still as you can amidst the center of gravity shifting with each breath. Exhale, drop the hand, drop the knee, rest the head, child pose. Become like a little statue in child pose, gently breathing. Then inhale, come onto the shins. You might like to sit on a block if that's uncomfortable into Vajrasana. If you have a strap handy, you might want to grab a strap. You could use a towel. You could use pretty much anything. Some of you won't need it. You'll just clasp the hands behind the back and straighten the arms. Some of you will grab your strap and hold the strap behind your back and straighten your arms. So you feel a big stretch through the chest here. If it gets too uncomfortable on the shins and the feet, sit on a block. So feel this across the chest, opening up the chest, freeing up the throat, coming back to the breath. If it gets too distracting in the knees and the shins, change to a seated position. It's okay to cross legs. Or you could even extend the legs out in front of you. Now we're going to do something a little different here. Roll the belly down the thighs and lift the arms up over the head and rest your head either on the ground or a block. Just feel that in the shoulders. Maybe you can lift it over a little more, especially if you have a strap. You'll notice the wider your hands are apart, the more you can bring the shoulders over. 3 more breaths if you can. Exhale, bring the hands back, lift up, release the strap. Notice the sensations you feel, and then come onto your belly. Come onto the belly, extend the legs behind you. Charlie Chaplin feet. Stack the hands on top of each other. Rest the forehead on stacked hands. Flare the elbows a little more so the shoulders relax a little more. And feel crocodile pose. Just notice if crocodile pose feels like a release, like a letting go. And then practicing the 3 skills so that the mind's busyness becomes secondary. Become still, like you're a statue in a different shape. Feel the belly on the earth, gently breathing. Now relax. And notice the sensations you're feeling in the body. Let's take this to level 2. Sphinx pose. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, close enough so that the hands can reach the upper arms. Drop the hands down in front of you into Sphinx. If you have a block handy at the top of your mat, stand the block up and rest your forehead on the block. Try to let the neck and head relax. Relax the shoulders. So there's a release of tension from the shoulders all the way up through the neck into the head. There's no effort to hold the head up. If the mind is busy, let the mind be busy. Focus on becoming a statue. A sphinx is the statue, the quintessential statue of all time. Those vast statues in the desert. Just imagine you've been in this position for thousands of years. Gently breathing. Relax. We've got another couple of thousands of years to go, so there's no hurry. Notice how your hip flexors feel. If this is too much for the hip flexors, come back down into crocodile. We're going to go to level 3 if you like. Lift the head. Bring the elbows out an inch or so and flare the hands right out to the edges of the mat. So if you look at your hands, the thumbs are pointing to the top of the mat and the fingers are splayed out to the sides. Squeeze the buttocks as you gently straighten the arms into seal pose. Relax the shoulders and the neck. Can you turn the head gently side to side without any strain? So that you feel yourself being propped up here. This is deep into the hip flexors, so be mindful of the lower body, the abdominals, the hip flexors. You might like to drop the chin towards the chest and see how that feels on the back of the neck. Letting the weight of the head traction out the back of the neck. Gently lift the chin up. Notice how that feels. 3 more breaths if you can. And then return to crocodile. Drop the elbows, remove the block. Stack the hands, flare the elbows. Walk the knees in closer together. Rest the head and bend the knees. Move the feet in a circle so you release the ankles and the feet. And then once again come up onto your elbows. If you have a hard floor, I'm going to recommend you use a blanket or a towel on the left side of your mat. And bring your left knee and left ankle onto the mat. Half frog. Now, if your shoulders and neck have had enough, you can stack the hands and rest the forehead on stacked hands. If you're still available, bring the hands out into crime scene pose, goddess arms, and turn the head left or right. Doesn't matter. You can decide. Your head can be turned towards the bent knee or away from the bent knee. Elbows bent to 90 degrees, palms of the hands flat to the floor. Some more work on the hip flexor here, the right hip flexor and the left groin area, the left adductor, hip opening, neck twist, and the shoulders in a fairly neutral position as they lay here. Now, if the mind is busy, that's okay. Let the mind be busy. And practice the skills that render the mind quiet. Become like a statue, gently breathing. Relax the shoulders and the hands. Check in with sensations of the body. If the sensations of the body feel good, explore bringing both arms behind your back. The left hand is going to grab the right wrist like you've been handcuffed.
If that is appropriate, stay here and relax. Become still again. Still and relaxed. If this is not appropriate, if the sensations are too much, come back through the range of shapes we've done so far. Perhaps the hands out to the side into goddess arms, or stacking the hands and resting the forehead. So in our yin yoga, you always want to feel like you have this range of options. Some of you will want to go towards the more extreme end because you've done a lot of yin yoga with me. Some of you might be recovering from an injury, so you might be towards the modest end. So you're taking good care of yourself. And at least in tonight's practice, practice the skills of being still, letting go of reaction to the mind, relaxing, letting go of the idea there's something wrong. And then back to noticing, am I okay? Do I need to change the shape? Exhale, release the hands, stack the hands under the forehead. Keep the left knee out if you can. Turn the head in the opposite direction. Just make sure the neck feels okay. We'll be here for about another 10 breaths. For those who'd like to go towards the extreme end a little bit, prop yourself up under the elbows, hands close enough so that you touch the upper arm. So we're coming back into the Sphinx, except this time with the left hip open. That's going to add more sensation to the hip flexor and the rotator of the hip. Let the chin come to the chest. Lift the chin up. Head neutral. Turn the head to the left. Exhale, neutral. And bring the head to the right. Inhale the head to neutral. Final few breaths, bring the elbows out. If you like to go higher, flare the hands to the sides of the mat, just like we did with the seal pose. This time, seal pose with that left leg extended. Carefully straighten the arms. Check in with the hip flexors, the back, the abdominals. Release when you're ready and bring the left knee back onto the mat. Stack the hands. Rest the head. Bring as much attention as you can muster into your left hip, your left leg, your left side of the body, and just feel the echo of the pose. but also into the neck and shoulders. The neck and shoulders worked as well. Prepare for the other side. So you prop yourself up, you take the towel or blanket to the other side, if you're using a towel or blanket. And bring the right knee and the right ankle out to the side, and then decide. Arms in goalpost positions with the head rotated. Obviously the head is rotated in the opposite direction you had it last time. Sometimes the symmetry of the neck is challenged, so you may find one side of the head to turn is more challenging. Start to relax the shoulders into this shape. Become like a statue, gently breathing. As if you've been here for hours. Check in with yourself. Can you take the arms behind you? Left hand grabs the right wrist and let the shoulders relax. So now the shoulders have taken on a new position. The neck is probably feeling more sensation. And as much as you can, you're trying to stop the reaction of the shoulders hunching. You want the shoulders to keep relaxing. And while you're at it, stop the jaw from clenching. Stop the jaw from reacting. Let the jaw go soft and limp. So shoulders limp, jaw limp. Stopping the reaction of the mind and the body. This is how we practice being okay with a busy mind. We let the mind be as it is, and we practice being still, gently breathing, relaxing, and noticing how the body feels. Is it appropriate? Do I need to adjust it? So these three skills, over and over and again, will become like the three legs of a tripod. When the three legs of a tripod are extended, the tripod becomes stable. So what we're doing is becoming stable when the mind is busy. Practice those skills. Be still, gently breathing. Resist the temptation to react, to scratch or fidget. Now relax, second leg of the tripod. Third leg of the tripod is simply to notice, what do you feel? You're on the ground, you're on your belly, you're breathing, you feel sensations in the neck. Some of you might even feel sensations of the air against the skin. You might feel the sensations of the air inside the nose and mouth as you breathe. Can anyone feel their heartbeat? Exhale, release the hands, stack the hands under the forehead. keeping that right knee to the right if you can. Turn the head to the opposite direction. Release any reaction in the elbows and shoulders. Bring the head back to neutral. Check in if it's appropriate to move into an elevated position into Sphinx, elbows under shoulders, close enough so the hands can reach, palms down. And for those who are in Sphinx, take the tip of the nose and draw the infinity sign. Let's see how the neck feels with a little bit of movement here. When the nose comes to center, reverse the infinity sign. Now come to stillness. Become like that statue, gently breathing. Relax. Check in. Would you like to come up to seal pose? If so, bring the elbows out a little bit, straighten the arms, hands flare out to the side. Brace the buttocks, the low back, extend the arms. And then gently nod the head. Make sure the head and neck are not engaged. Turn the head left and right. Exhale, release. Come down, bring that right knee back. Stack the hands. And come into stillness. Roll the head from temple to temple over the hands. Come onto your back. Rolling onto your back. Bend the knees and stand the feet on the mat. New sensations, new orientation. The spine is now supported. We call this supine position in yoga. Interlace the hands under the back of the head. Clasp the back of the head. Bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees splay out to the side into butterfly position. If this is too much sensation for the internal hips here, consider bringing blocks underneath the thighs. So you support the thighs with blocks, and over time, as you feel the hips open,
you can move the blocks further out towards the knee. And for a moment, rather than relaxing into this shape, we're going to start to lift the tailbone a little bit so you feel the tiniest arch in your low back. And as you do, you feel the hips open a little more. And with the smallest effort, start to push the elbows down towards the floor just a little bit. Some of you might have the elbows on the floor already. Some of you may not. It doesn't matter. We just want a little more conscious push, elbows towards the floor. So it's like the front of your body is just opened up a little bit. Now, if this gets to be too much, relax the opening. We're going to go one more level here. Take a deep breath in. Now, as you exhale, arch the back a little more. Open the knees out a little more and press the elbows down a little more. So it's like your whole body is stretching open. Take a deep breath in, relax and stand the feet back on the mat. Bring the knees together. Keep the hands under the back of the head. And now tuck the tailbone so you feel your low back stretching. You feel the low back pressing into the mat. So you're squeezing your buttocks a little bit. As you squeeze the buttocks, you feel the tailbone wants to tuck here. So you avoid arching the back anymore. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the head off the ground and hold the head between the hands. So you're doing like a baby crunch. Now wrap the forearms around the skull very strongly. Squeeze the skull again. Squeeze it as if you're squeezing out all the thoughts in the skull right now. Feel them flying out through the room. Pop, 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 pop. Squeeze. Now lift the back of the head up. Traction out the neck. Let the neck lengthen. Keep squeezing the knees. Squeezing the skull. Lengthening the back of the neck for 3, 2, and then gently lower the head down and cross the right knee over the left knee. Now, many of you have done this with me before. Start to flop the shin. Notice what happened to your low back. See if it started to arch again. See if you can let the low back relax. So we're trying to let go of this end of the spine here. Keep the flopping going. And then pause. Lift up both knees so your left foot comes off the ground. Lift up the head and reach down and grab that front knee and pull it back towards you. And as you pull it back towards you, push with the left knee, lower the head down just to create a little stretch down here. You've got knees crossed, pulling the knee, the top knee towards you, and the bottom knee is pushing the knee towards you. So you're feeling this in the low back, the lumbar region, the low back nice and flat on the earth. Let's get this nice stretch sensation through the glutes before we rotate. Keep the knees crossed as you let go the left foot back to the earth. Right knee still crossed over. Bring the hands out 90 degrees. Like you have big wings out to the side, palms on the ground. Push down with the left foot and lift the hips into the air. And you're going to roll onto your left hip. And as you do, the knees fall to the left. Now your low back is arching. It's off the ground. That's okay. Turn the head to the left. How far can you turn the head to the left so it feels good? Try to keep the right hand and the right shoulder grounded. If the right shoulder, the right hand's coming off the ground, bring something under it like a block or a blanket. You want the right side of the body to be earthed as much as you can to sustain the lumbar twist. Now carefully turn the head to the right, modestly at first. Keep going slowly until you find the range of motion that feels appropriate. If the mind is busy, let the mind be busy. Don't worry about the mind. Remember, we're not trying to stop the thoughts, we're trying to stop our reaction to the thoughts. So how do we do that? Firstly, we become still like a statue. It's gently breathing. Then we relax. Relax. Relaxing away from the reaction to tightening the body in a twist. Can you relax the low back more? Whoa, that feels good. And then notice the sensations. Is everything appropriate? Do I have to modify? Inhale a head to neutral. Bring the knees up. Straighten the hips. Release the knees. Straighten the legs. Palms face up. Relax. If the mind is busy, let the mind be busy. Let yourself stop reacting to the thoughts by becoming still like a statue, by relaxing the shoulders. Bend the knees and cross the left knee over the right knee and flop on this side. Now, as you flop, you want the low back to once again relax. You're trying to take the arch out of the low back. You want that low back letting go. And as it lets go, you might flop a little more strongly. For 3, 2, and stop. Keep the knees crossed as you lift up both knees, so you lift up both feet. Keep the knees crossed. Lift up the head for a moment and grab that front knee and pull it back towards your ribs. And the right knee, the bottom knee, just pushes. So we're going to hold this, starting to release the low back tension, the gluteal tension, before we do the twist. The low back should be imprinted into the mat. Release the knee, let the right foot come back to the earth. Bring the hands out 90 degrees, palms face down. Push down through the right foot, and as you do, the hips lift off the ground. Roll onto your right hip and drop the knees to the right. Keep that left arm grounded. The low back is arched again, so there'll be some kind of tension in the low back on the left side. But as much as possible, invite that part of the body to relax. Exhale the head to the right. Become like a statue, gently breathing. Relax into the shape as much as you can. Resist the temptation to react. Soften the breath. Carefully turn the head to the left. Once again, being modest. Being mindful of each breath. Now imagine you're a statue again. All these wonderful statue shapes that you're in, but you're gently breathing still. Relax the shoulders, neck. Inhale the head to neutral. Bring the knees up. Relax the legs, unwind the legs, and bring the hands onto the belly for a moment. Just relax the hands onto the belly. Now we haven't had a lot of time for Shavasana tonight, but feel free to hang out in Shavasana if you'd like to. If you'd like to just marinate, soak in the glow at the end of practice, you can. If you're ready to transition from practice, bend the knees. And roll to one side, curling up into a little ball, supporting the head with the arm. And then gently make your way up to a seat. Whatever that means for you at the end of practice. It could mean you're on a blanket, a block. Legs can be straight or crossed. You might be kneeling. Become like a statue, gently breathing. And if the mind is still busy, that's fine. Just let it be busy. It's just the weather. It's just the weather in the sky. But practice being still, relaxing, not reacting. Gently turn the head, feel the neck. And bring the hands together in gratitude. for our practice, just for dedicating time to be well, to take care of yourself. It's an important thing. Namaste.